Rajya Sabha from Telangana. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us. Of course, it's a historic day for the Congress-led UDF in Kerala. We've seen the show of strength. We've seen the leaders from the High Command, Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, all on stage. VD Satishan taking oath as well. The chief ministers from all Congress-led states on the ground. The allies of the Congress party in the UDF, the IUML, the RSP, the CMP are all present on the stage as well. What is the roadmap that the people of Kerala can now expect? Of course, Rahul Gandhi had put forth his 5 guarantees. The manifesto is out as well. VD Satishan focusing a lot on the youth, focusing a lot on Gen Z, and we see this in the cabinet. It's a blend of political stalwarts as well as young leaders and youth voices in the cabinet. What can we expect?
First of all, I would like to congratulate the people of Kerala for their mandate and trusting UPA, trusting our UDF and giving Satishanji an opportunity to become the Chief Minister of Kerala. And as you said, our Honorable Chief Minister is already into Gen Z effect and is also given opportunity for PC Vishwanathanji, Roji Johnji and Leejuji, who are all very from Youth Congress background. We've been working in Youth Congress organization for a long time, and they're all very committed to the ideology of Congress party. Not only that, if you see the trend in the Kerala, the Kerala people have made sure that no communal forces should enter the Kerala. Not only Kerala, now if you see the South India, entire South India is against communal forces, and as Rahul Gandhi ji has told that we will definitely be implementing our 5 guarantees which have been committed during the time of election and which have been kept in the manifesto.
And what difference can we then expect from the UDF's performance in these upcoming 5 years from what the LDF has done in the last 10 years? There's been a lot of talk about VD Satishan's approach. He's been a lawyer before this, and even as leader of opposition, he's someone who is very meticulous. He took up public interest issues of the grassroots through PILs, through RTIs. How can we expect this to reflect in his governance?
Satishanji has a very good team now, because he has all the seniors also who are with him, and as you said, being an opposition leader, he has been in the people, he has been in the masses, he knows what exactly the situations are, what exactly the people are facing problems during the last 10 years of the previous government. And now that the government, we are already in the government, we have an action plan, and you will definitely watch some good positive work in the Kerala government, and we have to wait and watch, because we have to give some time. This is a new government after 10 years of opposition, and we are committed to the people of Kerala, and we'll definitely put in all the positive efforts to give positive results.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX. And we wish the Congress party all the very best. Of course, the mandate of the people has gone to the UDF this time around. Of course, it remains to be seen whether these guarantees will be fulfilled. In the meantime, my colleague Anand Singh with us on the broadcast. Anand, it's been quite an electrifying atmosphere on the ground. We've seen the show of strength. We've seen all the leaders from the Congress party standing on stage, hand in hand, raising their hands right before the oath-taking ceremony, a pointed message going out over there. But beyond the optics, of course, we've seen a lot of promises made. You were on the ground while campaigning was taking place, while polling was taking place, and while counting was taking place as well. What have you gauged as far as the people are concerned? What are they really looking at? What are the key issues that they want the UDF-led government to address for them?
Yeah, Priya, look, as you just mentioned that how there was an electrifying atmosphere in Thiruvananthapuram Stadium, where all the senior Congress leaders, including Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Chief Minister Siddharamaiah, A. Revanth Reddy, Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu, and the Deputy Chief Ministers from Karnataka, D.K. Shivakumar, and from Telangana, Bhatti Vikram Mallu. So all were present on the dais, and we have seen that how they have waved when Satishan was going to take oath. We have seen the electrifying crowd over there, how they responded to V.D. Satishan when his name was announced by the Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar. So clearly, we have seen this kind of atmosphere there during the election campaigns also, when the Congress party has taken on the LDF led by Pinarayi Vijayan government over there, when it has alleged of several of the corruption cases taking place under the nose of the LDF government in the last 10 years. And this was one of the major highlights of Congress campaign, that it targeted Pinarayi Vijayan led government over there. Beside that, they also targeted the women and youth community of this Kerala, and they promised a lot of guarantees for them. That includes that how for jobs there will be a lot of opportunity that will be given by the new UDF government led by Congress over there. So clearly now the Congress party will be looking to fulfill those 5 guarantees, as Congress party has been maintaining that how the 5 guarantees that it has promised in Karnataka, it is delivering, despite the fact that 1.23 lakh crore per annum is spent on the promises, on the guarantees that it has made. Similarly, in Telangana and in Himachal Pradesh, we are looking at how Congress party has been trying to deliver all the guarantees. So clearly, even in Kerala, this is what Rahul Gandhi and several of the top Congress leaders have mentioned and maintained, that whatever promises the party has made, they are going to deliver, and it will keep on delivering those promises, and it won't let the people of Kerala down by deviating away from the promises. So clearly, it's a big moment for the Congress party, as it's a historic comeback for the Congress-led UDF in Kerala after 10 years. As in 2021 assembly polls, we have seen that how despite having a consecutive government every 5 years, that formula, that rule was broken in Kerala, as LDF government had once again repeated the government over there for the second consecutive time. But this time it could not complete a hat-trick, and the UDF had wrested out the power from them. So clearly the Congress-led UDF will like to fulfill all the guarantees and promises that it had made with the people, and for that Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, or if we talk about leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, they have assured the people that how its government will look to deliver on all the promises that it has made to the people of the state in the coming 5 years. Back to you, Priya.
All right, Anand, thank you so much for joining us, sharing all of those details. I also have with me Ms. Rajlakshmi Joshi. She's been extremely patient, waiting for quite a while. We, of course, heard most of the swearing-in ceremony over there. V.D. Satishan taking oath formally as the Chief Minister of Kerala. And quite the cabinet he has there. 20 other members are a part of his cabinet, 11 from the Congress, 5 from the IUML, representations from the Kerala Congress Jacob faction, the RSP, the CMP as well. In focus, of course, the 5 guarantees promised by Rahul Gandhi, as well as what exactly will the UDF do that is different from what the LDF has done in the last 10 years. But the choice itself has been one that has provoked a lot of discussion, because sources did tell us that V.D. Satishan was not Rahul Gandhi's pick. Rahul Gandhi's pick was in fact K.C. Venugopal, and it was pressure from the allies that led to Satishan's name finally being declared. In your assessment, did the ally pressure really hold weight in this? And if so, then how exactly should Satishan then go ahead and strike a balance between what the High Command wants and what the allies want in the state over the next 5 years?
A very good morning, and firstly, congratulations to the UDF for a stupendous victory. And yes, they have redeemed themselves after being out of power for 10 years, which is against convention in Kerala. So that is the previous, I think your reporter was rightly saying that every 5 years there's a change in government, which did not happen the last time round. Now this time, in spite of this huge, stupendous victory, you saw that there was this huge, there was this surprising delay So that was something that took everybody by surprise. So that is actually, see, very rightly there were all these discussions about the choice of Mr. V.D. Satishan, because there were a lot of factors actually. So in spite of the fact that yes, Mr. V.D. Satishan was the person who was leading from the ground, he was the person who was instrumental in bringing back the Congress and the UDF to power. But in spite of that, yes, the High Command, that is Mr. Rahul Gandhi, definitely preferred Mr. K.C. Venugopal. And in spite of all of that, Mr. V.D. Satishan was picked. But you can, if you remember the days before this choice, you can see that there was this huge poster war where you had people in Wayanad. Actually, there were posters that said that this time round, dare you try to come back to Wayanad, you will not be able to be an MP, and Wayanad will be turned into Amethi if you do not pick Mr. V.D. Satishan. And also, there were all these, there was a huge pressure from IUML. So IUML, the reason why they have been backing Mr. V.D. Satishan is because in the past, Mr. Satishan has made very provocative and very strong comments in favor of the prophet, and they controversial at that, and he has stood by it. So that actually, that came under a lot of fire from the opposition, obviously the communist parties and from the BJP. All of them definitely did not favor all these kind of comments, where he was talking about some scientific predictions by the prophet. See, I will not get into the details of that, but there have been a lot of indications where there has been strong appeasement by Mr. V.D. Satishan and by the Congress in Kerala. So that has actually been the main factor due to which they have won. So they have won only on the back, on the shoulders of the IUML. So, and if you have seen that there has been this strong backing of the Muslim community. So even in Wayanad, the reason why they chose Wayanad was also because of the Muslim community, of the Muslim strongholds, and also the backing of the IUML. So that all of this is definitely something that Mr. V.D. Satishan, I was listening very amused to the statements by the Congress MP who was speaking before me. So he was talking about how they have kept all the communal forces out, and they're talking about some great secularism that they claim to have brought into Kerala. So, but it is strange that they are actually doing all of this on the back of the IUML, which has the Muslim League in its very name, and which is a remnant of the Muslim League, which actually chose partition of India. So this force, where they're talking about secularism, while actually taking the very shelter of the communal forces, that is something that is a huge challenge for Mr. V.D. Satishan. So while he claims to be the secular force, and the Congress as well, so all of this, that is a very big, it is such a big hypocritical stance that the Congress has taken. So if you have seen what has happened in Tamil Nadu as well as in Kerala, they have taken the help and the support of the IUML in both states. So so how can they claim to be secular? So, and the backing of the IUML and their pressure is very evident. And already the Congress is hugely into minority appeasement. So now it is definitely something to watch out for, how they are going to keep up with the secularism that they keep talking about. So I don't know, in all the states that they have won, they seem to be having most of Muslim candidates winning, and in Muslim pockets only they seem to be winning. So now they keep talking about the SIR. That also I want to mention, that in the SIR happened in Kerala also, and it strangely so happened that there were a lot of deductions in SIR in Kerala as well, and the major deductions happened in the pockets where the BJP was doing better, especially during the panchayat elections. So, especially in the Hindu strongholds. So, those are the places where there were the maximum deductions. And obviously, the maximum additions were in places like Mallapuram, which are Muslim strongholds and which are places where the Congress was doing better. So you can understand what I'm trying to say. And there was a delimitation. A lot of constituencies also were redrawn. So all of this has actually impacted the Congress in a way, and it has helped the Congress also. But now they choose to actually look at all of this as some kind of God's voice. The people's voice is the God's voice, and here the democracy has come victorious. Secularism is very much in place, in spite of the fact that IUML is a very strong contender here, and without the support of the IUML, the Congress wouldn't have been able to be in power in Kerala. In spite of this, this 102 in numbers is backed by 22 of the IUML. So without them, they would have been just, I think, some 65 in number, which wouldn't have been enough for them to be able to form the government.
And they have repaid that by providing 5 seats to the IOML in the configuration of cabinet ministers. But one quick comment, because I'll have to move on to further updates as well. Ramesh Chennitala has been given the home portfolio. He stated this in the morning as well, that he's been allocated the home portfolio. Law and order is something that came up in conversations with my colleague Anand when he was on the ground speaking to people. That's something that they addressed numerous times. So what do you make of Ramesh Chennitala as the choice for Home Minister in Kerala?
Yes, law and order is a very sensitive topic here for Kerala, because I am saying this because, see, there have been a lot of instances. Now, as much as the Congress and a lot of these political parties want to close their eyes to the idea of love jihad, that has been very predominant here. And a lot of these forces, like especially like the IUML and a lot of other communal forces, have been very active here, and a lot of people have been radicalized and they have been sent nothing less than to ISIS. So all of this has been happening, and the NIA has been conducting a lot of raids, and there has been a lot of all these kind of incidents in where a lot of people have been held. They have been found indulging in all these kind of radical practices. So all of this is going to be a huge challenge for anybody who takes up the home ministry. And like I said, already there is this pressure from the IUML. So how all these different factions within the Congress and outside the Congress also, all of them, how they're going to be handling all of that. So how they're going to be able to close their eyes to all these factors and maintain the law and order at the same time. So even the church is also very concerned about all these incidents. And obviously the Hindus are also very much concerned about all the different incidents that are happening, especially about the love jihad, and a lot of conversions happening. Not just the conversions, it's the radicalization and leading up to the ISIS. So all of that has been happening, and some places like Kasargod have been they have been very strongly involved in a lot of these terror activities. So all of this, I don't think that anybody can close their eyes to that and then talk about peace and talk about communal harmony. So anybody who takes up the home ministry has to definitely take up all of this with an iron hand. So which I wish the very best to Mr. Ramesh Chennitala and to the entire UDF for they also will have to give their ministries very stringently and very sensitively, because they have a lot of alliance partners to please. So this is a lot of challenges on hand. So I wish them the very best, and to the state of Kerala as well.
All right, ma'am. With that, I'd like to thank you for taking out time, sharing your perspective and